you want me to start or you want to
Good.
start?
All right.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Kiel-Sisco Stonybrook Principals Forum. Thank you for all of you that are here, and thank you for all of you online who are attending. We have a presentation, so we hope you enjoy this.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm Jennifer Olawole, otherwise known as Mrs. O, and I have Mrs. Utel.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to start with just providing an overview this evening of our Kiel-Sisco pre-K to 2 grade and essentially our enrollment. So what are our numbers in Kiel and Sisco this year? So starting with preschool, we have a total of 24 students at this time, and they are housed next door at our Sisco building. We have 108 students this year in kindergarten. That's across 5 sections or 5 classes, if you will. We have first grade at 123 students, and that is 6 sections, as well as second grade with 126 students and 6 sections as well. So that's our total population at this time is 381 students between Kiel and Sisco schools.
And for Stonybrook, as you can see, our current enrollment is 3rd grade. We have 114 students in 5 sections. In 4th grade, we have 115 students, again in 5 sections. And then our 5th grade is 128 students with 6 classes. And for those of you that are not familiar with 5th grade, we have 3 sets of team teachers. So one teacher teaches the literacy, reading and writing, and the other teacher does science, social studies, and mathematics. We have 1 MD, that's our multi-disabled classroom, and we have currently 4 students for a total of 357 students is our current enrollment.
Okay, so looking at our focus in Kiel-Sisco, and when we say focus, we're really talking about developmentally where our students are in grades pre-K, kindergarten, 1st and 2nd. So, in addition to all the academic core subject areas that we teach, we really focus on social skills and emotional regulation. And really what that means is teaching our students not only how to feel, but how to manage the emotions, just like we do as adults, right? We're constantly regulating ourselves, and we're trying to teach those coping skills to our students as well, and just how to interact appropriately with each other. We also teach perseverance, social skill, critical thinking, problem solving. So how do we work to find solutions to solve problems? So whether it's academically in a classroom or we're looking at a social conflict that we're facing, we really try to teach our students how do we persevere and how do we work to solve those problems. And then last but not least, our full values. So things like respect, be present, always put your best foot forward, let go and move on. If something happens, we work to solve the problem. And then from there, once we've solved the problem, how do we say, okay, we're all in agreement, we've reached a solution, and we move on, even if we sometimes have to agree to disagree. So those are the kinds of conversations that we have with students in Kiel all day long, in addition to the core academic subjects that we teach. And we have great fun doing so. And that's really just what our focus is in Kiel and Sisco, pre-K 2.
And as our 2nd graders move up to 3rd grade at Stonybrook, we have a strong continuity of those values. So our goals and focuses at Stonybrook, again, critical thinking, problem solving, and academic success. So when we look at our core content area subjects, it's also infused with our social emotional learning. Collaborative, hands-on learning, so you'll see or hear from your children, there is a lot of teamwork, there's a lot of book clubs, there's a lot of project-based learning that's going on. And again, just as Mrs. O shared, our full values, social and emotional well-being. We do a lot of our work, and a lot of that credit has to go to our guidance counselor, Mrs. Tenga. We work hand in hand, and she works hand in hand with Mrs. Tinney here at Kiel to make sure that our students K to 5 have all of that social emotional well-being. We focus a lot on our full values, but we also focus a lot on character traits. We do 1 a month, and that's really within our school motto every day, kindness counts at Stonybrook. And it's also shared on SPTV on a daily basis, which is run by our 5th grade students, and then throughout the classroom. So that continuous instruction from K all the way to 5th grade is a great seamless transition for our students as they move from one building to the next.
Yeah, and Mrs. Utel makes a lot of fantastic points. we work together all day long to make
Yes.
sure that those transitions and connections are constantly made between the two schools. So for example, we have, SBTV at Stony Brook. At Kiel, we have a morning announcement program. It's done live, and it's the same thing. We do Pledge of Allegiance every day, and then we also have, the important lesson, life lesson, or quote of the day, if you will, that we have students recite every day. So there's a lot that we share between the two schools to make sure that we're not only meeting students developmentally where they are, but that again, it's growing with them through the years.
So one thing that I wanted to share, if you are not familiar with, are all of the clubs and activities that we offer at Stony Brook School. So in this first, if you can see the slide on the first box, we have our Friendship Club with Mrs. Tenga, a Newcomers Club with Mrs. Tenga. The Newcomers Club is for all of our students who are new to our great community of Kinnelon. So she works with them for about 4 to 6 weeks just to make sure the transition from their old school to their new school is a seamless one. We are very excited that we tomorrow are announcing to the students a kindness crew. So all of you here and online are the first ones to hear. We are starting with our 4th and 5th graders a kindness crew. And our goal with this project is to meet the needs of our communities. So we're going to be starting with a sock drive. We're going to be doing a food drive. We're going to be doing a drive for animal materials for our shelter for our animals in Kinnelon and Butler. So this is newly adopted. And then we have our student council, which is run by Mrs. West, and our business club in 5th grade only by Mr. Scheckman. And that's a great club because the kids really look forward to that. There's also a very nice connection at the end of business club where they do take a trip to the high school and they work and interview with the business club students at the high school level. And then we have our coding club, our robotics club, our jazz band, and then a STEM club that starts in the spring, and then Destination Imagination, which is all homegrown and run by our parents.
Awesome. And then at Kiel, we have, there are definitely some pieces of that translate to what we do during the school day in terms of activities with our students. And in addition, we have our K-2 special area classes, which students have every single day in Kiel. So they have one in each of these areas. So between art, visiting our library media center where they have a combination of being able to check out books and a focus on literacy, as well as time working in our computer lab. We have music as well as physical education twice per week, and then health is embedded throughout the school day as well. So these are pretty much our special area classes, and they do attend one per day. So they take place over the span 40 minutes, 5 days per week.
So moving into 3rd grade, we have the same exact thing, except what we added our upper elementary level is world language. So everything else, art, library, media, music, and then one a day for each student, but our cycle classes also take place. 4th grade has them on Tuesdays, 3rd grade on Wednesday, and 5th grade on Thursday. So on those days, they have the luxury of having 2 different classes. But one big difference you'll see is that our 5th graders have Spanish for half the year and French for half the year. And at that point, a French teacher does come down in the spring to introduce them to the language, to do a mini lesson with them, and then you'll receive information at home, probably about the end of May, for your choice for your child as they transition then to middle school. Now, one thing that we did want to share, because Ms. O and I talked a lot about this, is exactly what is a cycle class and why do we have them? So our cycle classes have a couple of benefits. Our cycle class is a class that all 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students participate in, no matter what. And then these classes are held once a week, as I said, and they include everything that you see here. Band and choir. Band is only for 4th and 5th, and choir is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We have sign language, STEM makerspace, music lab, full values and team building. We have art, coding, mindfulness, and movement. And cycle classes run every 6 to 7 weeks. The great thing about the length of the cycle class is that it gives the teacher the opportunity to do a long-term project. And then those projects are displayed. As right now, to give you a good example, in art, our cycle classes ended today. The new cycle starts next week. So your children will come home and tell you what they hopefully have switched to. But for art, they made creatures, anything that came to their imagination, they sketched it out first, and they created it with recyclable materials. And when you come to parent-teacher conferences in a couple of weeks, those are now displayed in all of our display cases. So all of those run. Band and choir are the only things that do run for the entire length of the school year. Our students either have a band week or a choir week, and that leads into the following year. And then as they move again to middle school, a choice of a different instrument if they so choose to.
Great. Okay. And then for Kiel, transitioning really back to what is, pre-K2, specifically focusing on our K2 classrooms. And really, a lot of what Mrs. Utel is sharing is done at the 3-5. The way it translates to K2 is a lot of push-in. So we focus on a lot of these areas as well, but it's things like our school counselor pushing into classrooms, teaching those lessons, and then it's also embedded all day long with the general classroom teacher. So we're constantly teaching, learning, growing, even outside during recess. So that's really what I'm focusing on here too, is all day long, when we have movement breaks, for example, in first grade, it's appropriate for what our students' needs are. And it really calls for them to be able to move, to be able to take stretch breaks. So we know that students are learning the entire time from the moment they enter our doors until the time that they exit. And that movement is a really critical part. They learn through play. And so what we also do is in our classrooms, throughout the course of the day, a lot of time is spent, for example, on our carpet, because our students, we know, learn best through learning hands-on, through that active engagement in lessons on a daily basis, and they need that. They need to be able to move and have various options for seating, such as flexible seating as well. So you can see I've taken a few pictures of some of our classrooms so you can see. And again, those spaces are designed specifically with our youngest learners in mind, to be able to engage them, to help them to move throughout the classroom. So for example, they might be in the middle of a math lesson, and a student we know just needs that 5 minutes to be able to get up and stretch while the rest of the class goes on. The carpet layout as well as flexible seating enables us to do that, and for instruction to not be interrupted, because as I said, it all plays together. Our students are learning the entire time from start to finish. And that, again, translates out to the playground, our indoor recess even. Students are constantly learning through those experiences. Our school counselor, Miss Tinney, she's out at recess every day. She and I frequent the lunchroom. So that learning takes place in the hallway. Our students learn as they to get in a line, right? Those things that I think as adults we look back on and we take for granted. Our students in Kiel at 5, 6, and 7 years old, they're learning those skills. They're learning how to be able to get in a line, to be able to, transfer to the next classroom, whether they're going to PE or music. Those are all skills that they're acquiring now as they're in grades 1 and 2. So it's a lot of learning going on. And again, just very hands-on is what our focus is. So we're meeting our students and their needs where they are. And then positive behavior management is another big piece, especially now that we're in October. We spend a lot of time, and really just what I want to share with our parents and our staff this evening, and just again to reinforce the fact that our focus in Kiel is always on the positive. So while there are consequences, right, and there are always boundaries that we help set with students, with personal space, for example, our ongoing conversations that we have, the focus is always on the positive. And the reason for that is we want to reinforce the behaviors that we want to see students modeling. And so we model that for them every single day. So we make sure in Kiel, for example, we use a lot of sticker charts and behavior plans, because our goal is always to set the example and then make a big deal and use a lot of praise for the behaviors that we are expecting to see from our students. So it's always on the positive. So it might be a 5-minute consequence, for example, and then we're on to, okay, great job. It's awesome that you were such a great helper in class, or you were so kind to your friend. So we're constantly giving students that positive feedback because we want to reward the positive. And that's really what our focus is here at both Kiel and Cisco.
And so one thing that I'm very, very proud of is our new sensory room. And this was a room that was developed in conjunction with some people that I really need to take a moment just to mention this evening. My child study team members, Mrs. Gutman and Ms. Kleiner, Ms. Cook, and Mrs. Strubel and Dr. Bott. So a sensory room, if you're not familiar with what a sensory room is, it's a room, because in a school every day, we're in an environment that is busy. It's hands-on, it's learning, the kids are all over the room, and it's wonderful to see. So it can sometimes become overwhelming for certain learners. This is particularly true for students with autism spectrum disorder and other students that may have some special education needs. And to address this, we created a safe space, a haven per se, to meet the needs of those students. But it's a room that's specifically designed to calm. and to bring down a need, especially a sensory need that a student may have. So it facilitates the participation in learning. It is a controlled sensory focused space that is intentionally created to support the unique needs of each student. It provides a tranquil space where they can retreat from sensory overload and can be used to develop the student's needs. Can you go to the next slide?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So this room, which the teachers are also loving, is a very calm room. It's painted in a very tranquil green, but these are some of the items right now that are in our room. It's an interactive wall panel, sensory lighting, beanbag chair, an infinity tunnel, and it's the ability to turn this room into a dark space. So when you walk in, all of the lights are covered with protective clouds. So it brings this calming lighting to the room. There are activity mats, art equipment, fidget tools, Legos, and building blocks to create tactile experiences. So it's just a room when you do have the overload within a student that they can go to, and not more than 5 to 10 minutes. And it's something that we're proud in because it was made in conjunction and to really meet the needs that we were seeing in some students, especially our MD classroom, so that we could work together with that teacher to really meet the needs of all of our students that needed this. So it's something we're very, very proud of.
Awesome. And so really just together in collaboration, we want to talk a lot about this evening, and this is really how, our homeschool connection, we have many goals, and really first and foremost at the top of that list is partnership and support. We can't thank our Kiel-Sisco and Stonybrook families enough for your partnership in everything that we do, whether it's a phone call, right? Like, we are not your traditional principals, right? When we call, we're calling to partner with you, we're calling to support, and really for your help too. So we're looking for your feedback and for it to be a two-way communication. So we thank you so much for that. So when we pick up the phone and call, that's the message, and that's where we're calling from. So we so appreciate that partnership and support.
And for Stonybrook, making sure, like our weekly newsletter this year, giving you information a month or two in advance, especially to our 5th grade families, which I will start to include a lot of the information that you'll need for certain assessments into PRM and our peak trip, which is the highlight of all of our students here, to make sure that you are getting that every week, just so you know all of the great things that are happening within our building.
Absolutely. And for Kiel too, one thing that we've revamped this year, again, just in response to parent feedback, which we so appreciate, is we've put together a calendar. So we're getting ready to send out November soon, by Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm like, oh, tomorrow's Friday. How did that happen? But tomorrow's Friday, so you will be receiving it tomorrow. And we have a calendar that we essentially have been putting together. So you've received September, October, November will come to you tomorrow, and we're pretty much outlining the month for you all in one place. It's perfect for your refrigerator, so make sure you print that out, post it in your house, and students are really excited. And remind your children to wear pink tomorrow, because tomorrow's Wear Pink Day. But again, that clear and transparent communication is what it speaks to. We are active listeners, even if, again, day to day, we're always listening. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate hearing from you and finding solutions. So just like we're teaching, problem solving in school, we ourselves, that's our number one focus as well. In addition to safety and academics and everything else we're talking about this evening, we are all about finding solutions. So if there's a challenge, we're looking to partner with you to solve that. So thank you so much. And thank you for being part of our family, right? Because that's what we are.
Yes.
We are a Kiel-Sisco Stonybrook family. All right, and then we do want to transition here before we close out the evening and just share an overview. The curriculum department has been fantastic in working with us, especially in Kiel this year, really with rolling out IXL. While IXL has been in existence here, we've really kind of, pushed, our benchmark assessments, and again, just teaching students, ensuring that we're fully in alignment with the standards. And just giving our students, especially in K2, really more of an exposure to how to navigate the computer, how to use our Chromebooks in a way that enhances learning for them. So thanks to the curriculum department for all of your support. I know that they've put together, but what we want to do tonight is really focus on how do parents at home support with Clever. So essentially you hopefully have seen, but if not, we're going to share this out via the presentation tomorrow. And you click on the link, but essentially this is how you would help your child get on IXL at night. So in Kiel, it's going to be twice a week that IXL assignments are given. Again, usually it's 5 to 10 minutes depending on the age of the child, and then we will expand that up to 20 minutes as students, again, throughout the course of the year develop and can handle more and would benefit from more. But essentially, we're making sure that between the two schools, students are getting IXL exposure. And again, when we talk IXL, we're talking about ELA and math as a platform. So the curriculum department has rolled out that information, but here's how you log on. In addition to using the QR code, we also have login information. You're going to use your child's Kinelan username and password to be able to access Clever if the badge is not working.
Yes, yeah, and for my Stonybrook families 3 through 5, they don't have badges. The students will all be using their email. So when they go to their Google Classroom, all of the information on a daily basis is shared by the teachers for them to log on. And for us, since we were using it prior to our little ones starting to really up and run, we have been quite successful. And again, thank you to our math supervisor, the curriculum department, which has been instrumental in really helping get everything off the ground, especially in the ELA area.
Absolutely.
And then I think the last slide.
Well, before we do that, right, we want to thank Keisha. There's no thanks enough, right? We're so grateful for all of Keisha's support. For those of you who are new to the district, our Kinelan Elementary Home and School Association, amazing. I know we could go on all night about all of their generosity.
Really could, but we just really, from the two of us, want to say thank you. The support that you provide to our staff and students is instrumental, and we can't say thank you enough. It is an amazing group of families in our community that support our students and what we're doing in our school. So if you're not involved, we hope you get involved, but what they've done for us as two buildings, it's just thank you. We can't say thank you enough.
Absolutely. Yep, from programs to books
to materials,
everything.
To library equipment.
Amazing stuff.
And then the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So for those of you, Stonybrook, our parking. So our Halloween parade is Tuesday at 10:30. So if you can be there by 10:15, we will have assistants and help you park all over the place, up and down Boone Ave. It is supposed to be sunny and cool, so we are very excited that we will be able to hold the parade outside. So we hope you join us for another wonderful Halloween parade, and I know Kiel's is in the afternoon.
Yeah, so Kiel will be 1:15, but it's going to be a party all day in Kiel, just saying. It is going to be a really fun-filled day. We have a DJ who will be coming in, so we're going to have Halloween dance parties. We're excited our class parents will be coming in to also support Halloween parties. And we're going to have our parade. So please join us. We're really looking forward to seeing you. And it's just going to be a really great day for all of our students. So we are starting at 1:15 p.m. sharp, and that's on Tuesday, Halloween.
And then our parent-teacher conferences, those are minimum days for all of our students on November 6th, 7th, and 8th. I know Kiel's evening conferences are on Monday. Stoneybrook's are on Tuesday. If you did not receive a sign-up genius from either building, please let your child's teacher know. Those I know in my building went out on Monday for conferences. And again, for Stonybrook, we are doing a fundraiser for our peak. So if you did not receive that fundraiser for bagels, because there's no lunch served on those days, so a nice hearty snack.
Yeah, awesome. Same thing, so a snack for students too with early dismissal. And then on top of that, we have our book fair that's going to be running. So it will be open at night, so Monday night Kiel, Tuesday night at Stonybrook. So it's really great. And we really started that last year, right? Yeah, we started last year. And it's just a really nice opportunity that while you're already here, be sure to stop by. All those proceeds then go to support our classrooms. And again, through Keisha, Keisha's really running the show here with this. So any books that you purchase through our book fair, it all gets kicked back into the classroom. So again, we really appreciate all of that support. We look forward to seeing you. And also be sure to check out our Lost and Found. Because I would say in Kiel right now, it's a mound and we're trying to advertise all day long. But if you can please, we're going to have it all set up beautifully for you too on that Monday night. So please check it out and take your child's belongings home. So thank you.
Yeah, and then just no school on that Thursday and Friday for Teachers Convention, and our first skate night of the year, which is a great evening for our K-5 families. Yeah. So that is on the 16th.
Yep, and let me just stress too, it's first skate night of the year. If you heard Mrs. Utel correctly,
skate night.
We are going for a spring one too, so we will have 2 this year. Yes. And again, all of those proceeds benefit students and our field day. Yep. So that's really why we do those fundraisers. And again, it's just really great to see the students. I heard Stonybrook right now has your entire population is going to be coming. So I get to reunite with our 3, 4, and 5 students, which is really awesome. and we're looking forward to it. So we'll book a spring one soon. I did hear from the main office that we filled to capacity today, so that went out. But please, if you're still interested in attending, make sure you submit registration. We have a wait list going so that you can still attend, and we'll do our best to get everybody in. So, and there we go.
Yeah, and I think just on behalf of Mrs. Olawoli and myself and our staffs, we just want to thank you really for all of you that are here and online for taking the time to come out and just hear. If you have any questions regarding anything, from curriculum to programs to cycle classes, we are always checking emails, so please do not hesitate to contact us, whether it's via email or phone, and we are always here to support you and especially your children. So thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to come join us, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much. Have a great night.
Goodbye.